And hello, everyone out in the DC universe. Welcome. Oof. Oh, shit. Whoops.
Straight out of Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your hosts E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten, coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everyone out in the DC universe. Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 171. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman-on-film.com. Please check out all the other shows associated with our network by heading on over to BOF, clicking that podcast drop down, and seeing what everyone has to offer. I'm your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River, Peter R. Vera, a senior contributor to Batman on Film, and today we're recording on March 8th, 2025, and as always, we have a great show for you today. But before we get into the good stuff, I want to remind you all, our faithful listeners, if you take the time to rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts and we read your review on air, you just won our monthly prize pack. So please get those submissions in. You got to be in it to win it. Now let me introduce you to my partner in crime and currently Facebook's biggest pot stirrer. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Q. Holzman.
Hello, Pete. Hello, world. Hello, everyone.
There he is, the champion of Long Island.
Yes. Unintentional pot stirrer, but yes, I did stir the pot, so whatever. I like when people get their feelings out, so get your feelings out, people. That's what I say. Just purge your feelings, let them go.
Which is interesting, considering you just post cryptic tweets and status updates on it, so you're not really purging your feelings.
But that's my choice.
Okay.
That's my choice.
If you're just gonna say something, just say it.
people. Well, sometimes you have to be careful. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, I mean, you could call somebody out for posting a thirst trap and then they'll block you, but you can do whatever you want.
Seriously though, sometimes I think, and sometimes it's like, okay, how much do I really want to deal with this at the moment? So those are certain things that just go through my head. But, I've been known to stir a pot or two, so if I do that every once in a while.
Vikings Twitter. You stir the pot there a lot.
It was much more fun when they had Kirk Cousins. Now that they don't have him anymore, it's not as fun.
Okay.
But it was much more fun doing that when they had Kirk Cousins. So, but how you been, man?
Good. Just hanging out, surfing the webs, or reading all the weird things people say.
That is a fun way to pass some time. Yes. It's been an interesting week, news-wise. Whatever you're following, whether it's in entertainment or it's in politics, whatever it is, it's been an interesting week. So it's been an interesting couple months in politics, but that was to be expected. So I wanted to touch on one thing before we get into like most of our news. Did you hear the Gene Hackman, what they found out about Gene Hackman and how he passed away and all this other stuff?
No.
So apparently, they said he died, I think, of some kind of heart issue, but they said that his wife actually died a week before him. And they found them both in the house at the same time. So that means he was living there with this corpse for a week? Am I supposed to believe, like, that's what it sounds like I'm supposed to believe? That...
Yeah, he sounds like he was gonna mummify her, and no.
It's just weird. That whole story is so strange. Like as long as I read that correctly. Again, I read it late at night when I was like groggy, so maybe I misread some things, but that's how I understood the story.
Really? So you're telling me if Gene Hackman didn't pass, he'd still be living with a corpse?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, and he was old, so yes, dementia. I'm sure he had all that going on too. So, but I don't know. That whole story was weird from the beginning, and it's just something that I had read, and I wanted to put it out there because we didn't touch on his passing. And he was in Superman. He was Lex Luthor in Superman. He's the Lex Luthor I remember most Um, and he's been in a bunch of other things. I did tweet out about it from our page when he passed, but we didn't talk about it on the last show. So, um, fantastic actor. I'm sure you know him from Superman. I'm sure you've known him from other things like Hoosiers and other movies that he's been in. Enemy of the State with Will
Hmm.
Smith. That's another one he was in. He's done a lot more than that, obviously, much more high profile films. But still, of great loss to the acting community and the entertainment community. And I mean, a guy who gave us numerous performances, and it's just sad. It's always sad when the older the older generation starts passing away, because then it reminds me that I'm getting older too.
Luckily, I
So,
have that buffer generation of Hackman, Holzman, Peter. So I still got that
because when
one.
you think of one, of course you think of the other.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
obviously.
they just roll off the tongue.
I don't know anyone who doesn't say, "Oh, Eric Holzman." Yeah, instantly, everyone just automatically starts talking about Eric Holzman.
Oh God, didn't want to make it about me. So sorry, but yeah. Um,
I wanted to
rest
make it about you. Everything's about you.
rest in peace to Gene Hackman and to his wife, and that crazy story, man. That story is just bonkers. And
Sometimes
I
it's
don't know.
better off to just not read the news and let your heroes go out, on
Yeah,
top instead of finding out all the weird stuff afterwards, right?
I know it's true.
Because then you find out,
Sometimes,
oh, they're people, and then you find, oh, they're bad people. Not saying Jackman's bad, but in the end, there's always going to be one bad. Somebody out there actually was a huge fan of P Diddy, right, or Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call them, and now they're regretting all their choices.
yeah.
you
I mean, yeah.
know,
Seriously, there's a ton of people. I was a big. I'm a fan of hip hop, but I was a big fan during that time when Bad Boy was huge and Diddy was.
how many pairs of
He,
velour pants did you own?
I never bought
Well, then
Sean
you missed
John
out because they're the
stuff,
most comfortable pants in the world.
but I mean that was a big part of my late teens, early 20s. Bad Boy
Yeah,
was a big part of it.
yeah.
So it's crazy to think that this guy. I mean, there were things that made you kind of wonder, like, really. But now, when all that stuff gets confirmed or
Mm.
seems like it's going to get confirmed, it's wild. It's a wild thing. So, all right, enough about that. Let's get into the good stuff. The reason why people listen to us, I think. Uh, so let's first start with the story about the Superman copyrights. And so Schuster's family, Mark Peary, who's the nephew of the late of Superman co-creator Joe Shuster, filed a suit seeking to invalidate the studio's copyrights under the laws of the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. Now, this has already been litigated in the United States, so this seems to be just like another Hail Mary by the family or by him to try and say, hey,
You
you
think
know,
because of all the tension between the U.S. and Canada right now, this is this was like this is the perfect time to do this.
I don't know, but it says that this has already been litigated and it's already been, and we've talked about this in the past with rights and stuff about or surrounding the character. But I mean, I didn't even know you could do something like this. To be honest,
Yeah,
um,
I don't know what he's trying to do. It's weird he's trying to do it in other countries, but it seems that if this does go to court in said countries, it could delay the film from being released in these countries.
yeah,
So this could be a huge problem for Warner Brothers because if you're trying to figure out if this movie is a hit and if people like it and enjoy it, you got to look at the box office. And if you're taking away, I know the Canadian market isn't huge. It's not like say China, but like every dollar counts, especially on this like fourth reboot of Superman. At this point, if this movie comes under like Man of Steel, Warner Brothers are gonna freak out.
yeah. It's a very it's just a weird case for me. Obviously, they can't relitigate it here. It's been through all the litigation here in the United States, so they couldn't do that. But yeah, they're trying in other countries, and I guess if you're
Like,
poor,
can someone
or
sue me in another country and like I have to go there? Like,
I
like
think
is that how it
only if you have
works?
some kind of business in that country. So, and obviously Superman is international, so yeah, I mean, I guess you can. But man, this story, I feel like with this and the public domain stuff coming, I think that's 2034. Superman enters the public domain. Um, it's a lot of uncertainty, and it's just kind of goes along with what the brand's been for the last how many years now. Um, so it was an interesting story just to
The
read.
public
I thought
domain
this,
thing worries me more than this copyright thing because, like,
yeah, it
you know,
should.
next subject is just like, it's they could ruin these things. I don't know, like, are any of these like horrible horror movies going to ruin Mickey? Like, is this movie going to ruin Mickey Mouse for kids? I don't think so, right? Like the Mickey Mouse horror movie.
No, hopefully they won't see it until they're older. So I don't
In
think it'll
general,
ruin
though,
for
like
kids.
people aren't going to associate that with Disney, though.
No,
At one point when I first heard of this about this like public domain thing, it actually had me terrified because I thought just you know idiots were going to start making horrible movies or steal artist artwork like we saw with the Zaddies and stuff and make their own thing to their own universe,
yeah,
all that bullshit. So like I was really kind of terrified about that. But then they started making these movies, and you're like, oh, these things suck so bad, and they're pretty much so detached from what. And look, I've never seen any of this crap because I don't want to see it. It looks horrible. But Holzman's really excited for the next one. But
I
yeah.
am not. That's a lie.
But like
Uh,
I don't think any of this public domain stuff is anything to worry about. We'll see what happens when it comes with Superman and Batman because they're up within the next like 20 years, I think. But
yeah,
I'm really kind of
9 years.
just I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, no, the public domain stuff. I'm sure they'll figure something out by the time that happens, and I'm sure there'll be limitations on what exactly the public can do with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. But you did bring up the I don't even the horror Disney verse. I don't even know what to
It's
call
like
it.
the fairy horror verse. I don't know what to call
Yeah.
this.
And we got another trailer for one of those films, Bambi the Reckoning. If you guys haven't seen this, you need to watch it. And not because it's scary, but because it's so terribly bad
Dude, this
and
trailer
comical.
made Lake Placid look like it was Scream.
Yeah. Bambi doesn't look anything like Bambi, number one. He just looks like a deer.
A
uh,
buck with it's almost like a buck with moose antlers.
yes.
That's how big
V-
this thing was. It was about the
And
size of a
really
moose.
jagged, like almost venom like teeth.
Like basically the mouth of a velociraptor on
Yes.
a deer with a moose's antlers and giraffe
Yes.
legs. That's what this thing looked like.
And obviously, I probably don't have to say this, but a bunch of actors I've never seen before. Terrible ones at that. And the CGI is not good. Like, and I understand this is not being produced by a major studio,
I don't
but
know why they make this stuff. Do these things really make money? Are people going to see this shit?
I don't know anyone. I mean, the first Winnie the Pooh one, I think people saw just for out of curiosity.
Yeah, but like this stuff has to have run its course by now.
I would assume,
Because didn't they've
but
done two Pooh movies, one Mickey Mouse. Did they do Pinocchio yet?
I
Or
don't
is
think
that
so.
coming? Okay, so they have okay, so it's two Poohs, one mouse, and now Bambi. I think we're done here. I think we're done. Like,
Yeah, I
what are
mean,
they
they're
going to
gonna
do?
do
Make the
Dumbo.
seven dwarves a bunch of like serial like kidnappers? I don't like. What do you do
It would have been smart for them to do that with Snow White, the live action Snow White coming out this year. It would have been smart for them to do that movie around
instead
the
of
same
Rachel
time.
Ziegler's? Is that who it is?
No, no, no. I'm saying if this company does these, since they're doing these horror movies, they should have
Mhm.
released that at around the same time.
Oh, I
Probably
see
would have
what you're
got a little bit of a
saying. Yeah,
probably would have got a little bit of a bump off of that.
maybe.
People and
Oh
being
God.
interested. But
Oof.
seriously, guys, who's ever watching these things, can you like reach out to us and tell us why? Because I don't understand. Obviously, Pete doesn't understand either why people waste their time watching them. Oh,
It'd
but
be like I want a Friday the 13th rom com. Like
yeah,
what?
it's a good one.
That's basically
Yeah,
softcore porn. It's such a
essentially, that's what that would be.
It's
Yeah.
a bunch of kids in cabins. Like, what are you doing? Oh God, it's. I don't know. It's horrible. It's horrible. All this stuff is horrible. It's just why are they doing this? I don't understand it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like
I'm with you. I have no
you're
idea.
I don't understand of like taking like something that's below not I don't know like a children's story and then making it like a horror movie. It's like taking a horror movie and making it something that's not. Like I don't get it.
Well, I mean, in that vein, a lot of the books that some of the Disney movies are based off of were not like happy and fun books. A
No,
lot
I
of them
get
are
it.
much
Like
right?
Snow White and Cinderella, like they're really not like they have happy endings, but they're kind of
Yes.
but they're also not horror movies. They're not. I
No,
don't
they're
know.
not. But I'm just saying, like, if you
Pinocchio
think
may be
about
scary when they go to the island, but I don't think it deserves to be turned into a horror movie, right?
yeah, right. I don't know. But yeah, this thing is bad. It's another string of the bad horror, you know, fantasy character horror verse, whatever we're calling it. I don't even know. Not good. But again, who's ever watching it, just reach out to us and let us know why, because I'm curious. I have a feeling it's something Steve Helm might watch. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. Um,
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, he spent so
so
much time watching 66. He's got to take a break.
true. That's true. All right. Well, moving right along, we'll stick with DC. We talked Superman. Let's talk a little Batman. So our Batman right now, Robert Pattinson, recently spoke about the delay and about a little bit about what's coming. He's currently filming Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and
Oh,
apparently
Nolan.
he has a small role in that. We'll get to Nolan later, more
Oh,
Nolan
he's
later.
got beef.
But
Oh, the beef.
no beef,
It's what's for
but
dinner.
we'll get we'll get to it later. So, um, he did a interview with Hero Magazine to actually promote Mickey 17. I actually saw it. Uh, very good movie. It's sci-fi, a little weird, but it's a good film. Had a good time. He's fantastic in it. His performance is great. So, of course, anytime anyone talks to him now, it always leads to questions about the Batman.
Hmm.
And they were asking, like, is this really going to happen? Like, when is this we going to start filming? And he answered, I fucking hope so. I started out as a young Batman, and I'm going to be fucking old Batman by the sequel. I'm 38. I'm old. So he added, he's old, but he's healthier, and I think I've actually brought my biological age down a bit.
All
So,
right. Interesting. Look, Pattinson's a troll, so just whatever he says, just take and jest. That's really it.
yes.
But they are filming. He's going to film it after Odyssey, so that's it. I mean, everyone stop being worried. It sucks the delays, but it's going to come. I don't, just enjoy life, and it'll be here before you know it. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I
Really.
don't either. And again, I'm sure it's frustrating for him to answer questions about the Batman Part 2 when he's trying to promote a movie that he's currently in now. Uh, so maybe that I don't know how he normally speaks, but throwing the F bomb in there a couple of times made it seem like he was kind of jokingly frustrated.
Hmm.
Maybe. Again, I didn't hear it, so I don't know the tone. But there was a little more from Pattinson, um, from the technicart.com. Yes, sorry, I read that right. He spoke more about it, and he's talked about getting the role, and he said, I sure am very lucky. Look for the Batman. It was very strange. I've never auditioned and I've never played a superhero before. 2 or 3 years before I got the role, I started thinking about it when I really didn't have a chance to play Batman. And then slowly there was like an alignment of the planets. So he talks about when they're going to start shooting. He says the end of the year, after the
Hmm.
Odyssey. They asked about the Joker being the main villain, and he said, yes, no, I don't know, potentially.
Okay, cool. I can wait for the villain. I think it's interesting. He said he didn't audition. You know,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Well,
So,
there was that story. I mean, we knew that Reeves wrote it with him in mind.
but
So,
there's always talk of Gyllenhaal. Like Gyllenhaal loomed for a while.
right. He did. Yes, especially in the first iteration when
And
they
then
first
wasn't
started
it
talking
rumored that they
about
had
it.
a meeting too at one point? So they had like
Yes.
lunch. So
Yes.
interesting. Maybe that was like a studio thing, but it seems like Reeves always wanted this guy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cool that we're getting a little bit more, I guess, in a way. Like people are talking about it a little bit more. Obviously, the panel that Gunn and Safran were at, they spoke about it. It was a little
There's,
unnerving to hear.
in my opinion, there's still nothing to talk about though. Like this movie, until like they're like, okay, here we go, we're in production. Like there's really nothing to talk about. Everything's already been said. The movie's
Yeah,
delayed.
you're right.
Blah blah blah. Like that's it. Like everyone keeps asking for an update, but there is no update. Like there's nothing to update you on. It's like, oh, all you keep asking is when is the movie? Is it coming out? Is it coming out? And they keep telling you yes, but that's not good enough for you. You want more. So like, I don't know what these people. I don't know what anybody really wants. Like they said, the movie's still coming out. It hasn't been canceled. They have plans to do it. The next update is we've begun production. Like that's it. That's. I
Right.
don't know what else to tell you guys. Just be patient. Just be like some of you nerds are really impatient. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think of all the properties that ever get made, if something the Batman something Batman related is probably safe. Like just I would go with that line of thinking most of the time.
And if it's Batman related, so you're already spoiled. So like, stop. You're acting like you've never
Yeah.
seen a Batman movie before. Please stop.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I agree. If they're gonna if they name a Batman title, yeah, it's probably coming.
you
So
know.
again, we went through the reasons why it was delayed. Reeves had personal stuff, and then both strikes went on at the same time. I mean, that slowed everything down. So you're thinking it's gonna push back a year, um, and that's what it's done.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. If I'm just confident, I know it'll get made. They've said nothing other than the fact that it will get made. I don't think this is a Batgirl situation. Um, I'm ready to roll with this. I just am. Like I'm ready to go.
yeah,
And when they announce production begins, great. They give me a poster, great. But there's nothing to be updated with. Like you know, here we go.
yeah,
End of the year. Here we go. After the Odyssey. So that's it.
yep,
Wait till
that's it.
after Odyssey. That's because you can't film the movie without the stars. So just hold on.
Yeah, you're right. Just
Ugh.
gotta wait till his schedule's available anyway. So you're right. So sticking along with the Reeves verse, we just got the Fantastic Penguin. And there's been speculation about whether a season two is coming. Well, let's just say it seems like right now there's nothing planned, but they're saying we'll never shut the door. We don't shut the door on it. So
Yeah, I was really excited by this, to be honest with you, because it just seems like they're just kind of like going with the flow. They're not force feeding anything, which is kind of what Warner Brothers has done in the past, and they shot themselves in the foot. So it's again, like this kind of seems very Nolan, like where they take it one movie at a time, one project at a time. Like, oh, we did the Batman. Then what happened to the Batman? The Penguin evolved. So out of the Penguin comes the Batman too. So then something probably is going to evolve out of that. So it just seems to be like it's just naturally progressing and just rolling along, which sounds fantastic. Like they're not forcing anything and they're not trying to do anything crazy, but they're just kind of going with the flow. And
right.
I appreciate it. I think that's good for storytelling. And again, like, I trust these guys. They've now delivered, let's see, we had 8
Yeah,
episodes of Penguin, 10 hours of stuff, and I've dug all 10 hours of it. So like, yeah, like do what you got to do. I'll be here.
yeah. I think that's the logical way to think about it. And we know that the character is going to be in the second Batman film, so anything they do, I would assume, would have to come off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't even know what that is yet. So they say obviously they had conversations about a second season and they've kicked it around, but I think we have to wait till the movie comes out to even explore something like this. So if
Yeah.
we do get another season, I'd be happy. I loved the first season and it was a great show. And I'd love to see more from the character, especially the way they portrayed him. I really enjoyed it, but gotta wait. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Like you said about the Batman part two, gotta wait for if there's gonna be a Penguin part two. It's Penguin season two, sorry. So sticking with Batman villains, we know that there is a Clayface movie coming, and there's kind of been discussion about like where is this gonna be? Is this Clayface gonna be in a part of the Reeves universe? Is it gonna be part of the DCU? And James Gunn and Peter Safran both kind of cleared that up. They said the Clayface has to be in the DCU because of the first of all because of the script that they're working with is going to be a body horror film, and second of all, it's in Reeves' universe. There's no metahumans. I thought that was interesting though that he put that in there because it kind of takes out some possibilities for Reeves to play with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it depends though. Like Reeves seems very grounded. I don't know if everyone was always talking about Mr. Freeze. I feel like this kind of singles out Mr. Freeze in the traditional way
Right.
we've seen him. So we'll see if that can be interpreted a different way, if even if that is the villain. But there are also been rumors of Clayface. Remember being in Matt Reeves' movie as well. So maybe that's a different take on Clayface, more of Basil, more than Hagen.
Right.
This is interesting to me because Reeves has got his hands all over everything Batman, and I think contractually, I think just Reeves is in charge of Batman. I think everything runs through Reeves, even stuff like this. So like, it's interesting that his production company is attached to it and all that jazz.
Right.
Um, which just sounds like it's way more lawyer talk than I want to get involved in, because it just sounds like it's going
Yeah,
to get
it
confusing at
does.
some point. But I think this just kind of confirms it. Like Reeves is working on this, but it's not in his universe. Again, it's Batman related. It's fascinating. I'd like to see what his contract what it actually says, because
Right.
I think it would silence a lot of critics and answer a lot of questions. But I mean, as far as Gunn's comments, it makes sense. It would be DCU. It just does, because I just don't, because it seems like they're going Mud Monster, right?
Yeah, they're definitely that's what it sounds like. He talks about it's pure horror. Obviously Mike Flanagan is doing it. He wrote it. Um so yeah, I mean,
Do you think that
and
Clayface could be a backdoor entry to Batman?
to the Brave and the Bold Batman.
Yeah, the DC. Well, that Batman in that universe. Do you think? I don't know. Like, it'd be an interesting thing to do.
Some of his comments did make it sound like this will be something like that. Like we'll see him again with whatever Batman he does.
Hmm.
So it does kind of. I could be. It could be.
Now, does
Could
this
be
mean
a.
that what's his name is Two Face, Alan Tudyk?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because that's what they said they were doing, and he's in Creature
Right.
Commandos, right?
Yeah.
So I'd
He might.
imagine that's Clayface.
Yeah. It would seem like
That was
it.
the plan, unless the plan changed again and he didn't tell us. And so get the Carussos on the phone. They need to know this as soon as possible. Plan change. Um, I'm just saying, is Alan Tudyk Clayface?
I mean, it does. From what they told us, that's what it would have seemed like. It would appear to be the
Mm-hmm.
case. But I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to get in touch with James Gunn and ask him.
Some dweeb asked James Gunn on Twitter yet?
No, but the good thing is if they did, he would answer. So
Yeah.
yeah, he would answer. That's one of the good things about him. He doesn't hide behind stuff. He doesn't. If he has an answer and something he can speak to, he does. So I appreciate that from him because there, as we know, there's a lot of creators out there who don't do that. All right, sticking with more Batman stuff. Um, if anyone read Batman Resurrection, which of course was the sequel to Batman '89, um, now there's another one coming, and it's called Batman Revolution, and apparently it's going to introduce Tim Burton's Riddler, the one that we never got.
Mm-hmm.
The book apparently is loosely based off of the script that would have been Burton's third film. So, what do you think of this, Pete?
I'm all for this. I loved Resurrection. I don't know if you read it, but I read it and I had so much fun with it. Clayface is in that, so if you're dying for Clayface,
I'm halfway through
Revolutions,
it, so yes.
yeah. But I had so much fun with it. I loved everything about it. I thought he really did a wonderful job bridging the gap between '89 and Returns. I can't wait to see what this next one holds. Uh, I met John Jackson Miller at Comic Con. He was more than gracious enough to sign my book and talk to me for a few minutes, and that was great. Um, but yeah, this is just like, for anyone who has ever doubted anything like this, like, I mean, this book was fantastic. I was so excited when this came out. It exceeded my expectations. I was really blown away by it. I mean, this is something that I think Kowalski would love, as picky as he is.
Yeah, I remember he wasn't a big fan of the comic.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of much other than like superpowers.
I remember that. I remember when the '89 comic came out, he was not too
He
thrilled.
goes, this book. Who wrote this? This book sucks. The guy wrote '89. He didn't write '89. Like, okay, thanks, Justin. Like,
But yeah, like I said, I'm halfway through Resurrection. I am enjoying it. Uh I when I'm reading it, I'm kind of picturing what it would look like on screen, and I do that
mhm.
a lot especially with stuff like this. So I'm enjoying doing that as well. But yeah, this sounds fantastic. I was always intrigued about what that Robin Williams Riddler would have been like.
Oh
So
man,
the
I
fact
remember like at some points reading Batman on film. Like, was it like Mickey Dolenz was rumored, and he was going to have like a question mark shaved in his head. There was
yeah,
that. There was that take at one point. I was like, wow. Like the Batman 3 is what it was called. That Riddler, always been fascinated. The Billy D Two Face and the Batman 3 Riddler, right? Like the things we never got.
yeah, that's true. So I'm very intrigued by this, and I'm gonna read it once it comes out. I will read it. When is it released to come out?
I believe October.
Yeah,
I've already pre-ordered it,
yeah. There's a
so
pre-order on
I'm just
Amazon
waiting.
already.
I'm just
So
waiting.
yeah, but let us know what you guys think out there. Um, I mean, there's a synopsis, and I would normally read it, but it's pretty long, so I'm not gonna do story time for you guys right now. Um, but it does sound like a very interesting story that he plotted out and that he wrote. So, um, yeah, if who's ever read Resurrection, let us know and tell us if you're interested in the follow up and interested in finally getting a little bit of what Burton's third film would have been. Because
You
again, this
know, Eric, I've
yes.
been thinking about writing a book myself.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was thinking, what happens between Zack Snyder's Justice League 1 and Justice League 2? Uxas Revolutions. I was just thinking, getting the armada ready, getting ready for war, that type of thing, real kind of like hoorah type stuff. That's what I was thinking.
Oh
Uxas
my god.
Revolutions. From Dark Side to Earth.
I
The
want
inside
you
story
know
of Zaddy's mind.
I'm surprised that hasn't been penned.
I think I, I mentioned this earlier, but I remember when the Zaddies copied like Jim Lee's art and tried to pass it off as their own for their motion comic. That was great.
Oh yes.
Remember that?
Jeez.
That's fun.
Oh man, I don't ever want to revisit that time in my life.
Yeah, dude, man, it was rough. But
It
it's
was.
the Twitter. I mean, whether it's because of Elon Musk or just time healing all wounds, they've died out a lot.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
really quiet. Even the figureheads, they keep their mouths shut. They stay in their lane. It's nice now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, people got older, and as you get older, you start to realize maybe this stuff isn't as important as
Certain
I once
podcasts
thought
have
it was.
disbanded for the better of the universe.
Yes, that's true too. Certain podcasts are no longer around. So yeah, I mean, it's a much calmer space. I shouldn't say calmer. It's just less volatile.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still have people who get up in arms about certain things and um, get married to certain things and they don't want it to change or be different. But I think for the most part, it's been a much cooler period outside of things like we are talking about today. When's the Batman 2 coming out?
Yeah. I mean, stuff that matters, not
Yeah.
like, Rebel Moon Part 3. Stuff that's getting made.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Uh,
Well,
I'll never
something
I'll
that
never get tired of taking jabs at them though. I'll never get tired of it. I
I
think they
mean,
deserve it. They still deserve it.
yeah, when you think back around that time period, especially some of the things that were said about some of us, um, it's not. I don't think it's terrible to take little pot shots every once in a while at that time period, and some of the people that were,
Especially since, like I said, they've all kind of faded away. Real big DC fans. They're all,
yeah,
real quiet now.
yeah, kind of revealed who they were fans truly of, right?
Exactly.
Um, so well, we did. Speaking of real things being released, we just had Daredevil, Resurrection released.
Born again.
Sorry, yeah, Born Again. Sorry, got my
Your
Batman
stories
and my
mixed up.
Daredevil mixed up. I apologize. Daredevil Born Again. I watched the first two episodes. Have you watched them yet?
I watched the first one. I get home late, so I was able to stay up until to finish the first one. But let me tell you, man, the first 14 minutes of episode one might as well be a friggin' movie. Oh my
So
god.
good. I know. Oh God.
Oh man, anyone who's not watching this and anyone who missed the first three seasons, shame on you. Any of you
I
who
don't.
missed the first three seasons, shame
Yeah,
on
and
you.
if any of you were worried that Disney was gonna dumb it down, they did not. I could say that.
No, they didn't, and I was worried about that. But I will give Disney credit when it's due. I mean, between Daredevil and Alien, and I was like, oh wow, like you guys aren't Disneyfying everything. So,
Yeah.
and even Deadpool, right? Like I give
Yeah.
him credit for that as well. That's still as raunchy as was the other two. So I appreciate Disney for not meddling where it doesn't need to be. So I give him credit for that.
Yes, but the last time we saw Daredevil before this was in a lighter show, and of course, I'm talking about She-Hulk.
Oh, what a babe! What a green Eric. Eric,
Oh, my fault. I'm back.
Eric. Okay, you there?
I muted myself and I forgot to take myself off.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep all the blunders in this week because this is fun stuff.
All right.
Um, so as I was saying, the last time we saw the character was in a lighter show. We saw him in She-Hulk, and he was in a different costume, and it was a much lighter version of Matt Murdock than we got for obviously than the Netflix shows.
Mhm.
So they he did an interview with hold on IGN, I believe it was IGN, and they asked him specifically about that, like what was going on. What was it like to play Daredevil in She Hulk, and would we see She Hulk possibly in Daredevil? So he spoke a little bit about it. He said, I think it's a case of whatever was going on with Matt in that period of time, he was able to leave that in JFK, John F. Kennedy Airport, when he got on the plane. He also jokes that what happens in LA stays in LA. And he talked about the reception. He said, it's funny how many opinions I've heard about this little moment in She Hulk. He continues, there's the Walk of Shame, which was a last minute idea where they set up a big screen and just had me walk across it carrying my shoes. A lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people love it. He says, if you take a look at Matt Murdock from our show and you put him in She Hulk as is, he's probably overly serious and becomes the butt of all jokes. So he's got to adapt to the tone, and there's precedent within the comics. There are many runs of the comics where there's a lot of levity, there's a lot of tongue in cheek, a lot of fun. He said it's an opportunity, and he said it's a whole different kind of fun with that, and maybe at some point we'll get to see the favor return.
I'd
So,
love that. I'd love that,
do you
especially
think
for all the
we're going to
haters.
get yes?
I got no problem with. Look, I'm a defender of She-Hulk. I love She-Hulk. It is
It
one
was
of my
good,
favorite comic book TV shows of all time. I think it's so faithful to what Byrne was doing those first like 6, 8 issues of She-Hulk when he was writing it back in the day. I'd love to see the favor returned. I thought the way that they did Daredevil was fine within the context of that show. It makes sense. And let's be honest, my man was getting it in with Mean Green, so he's gonna laugh it up a little bit. So I got no problem with that. Look, I've always wanted to see what the yellow Daredevil suit would look like in live action. Wasn't necessarily a huge fan of it, to be honest with you.
right?
Um, I like what Marvel did with it. I feel like this suit is more red than the Netflix suit. The Netflix suit, either it was more of a burgundy, it just seemed too black, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's
But this
fair.
one seems to be a little bit brighter. Seems to be same texture and all that, but like a little bit of an improvement. I'm down for it. If they want to do it, that's great. That's what Marvel does. This would be, I mean, it's not the craziest thing if Jen Walters popped in Matt Murdock's office. No, they're attorneys. Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't have to be She Hulk. I could just get Tatiana back because, like, she's great in her own self. Like, I love Tatiana. Um, yeah, I'm all for this. More Hulks, the better, in my opinion. The Hulks have been just utterly underutilized since Incredible Hulk. I don't care about gauntlets and all that other bullshit. She Hulk was a breath of fresh air for me. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I don't know. Suck it, haters. Like, I don't know
I mean,
what to
I
say.
thought that show was entertaining. They did a lot of different things with it. The fourth wall stuff. Like I thought it was very, very well done. It just didn't hit for whatever reason with a certain demographic, and it didn't get reviewed that well
Yeah,
by fans. I think it got reviewed okay by critics, but I don't think fans loved it.
She Hulk is kind of like, honestly, the Seinfeld of the MCU for me. Like, I just put it on, its background, it makes me laugh. You know,
Right.
like I will probably have Disney Plus forever because of She Hulk. Like, I would just pay for She Hulk. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with Netflix. Like, I pay Netflix to watch The Flash and Seinfeld over and again on
Yeah.
like all my TVs in the house. I just walk room to it's kind of like that. I don't have to walk around with a disc. That's the good thing about streaming. I can go from one TV around the house to the other.
Yeah. Well, if anyone had any kind of idea that the Daredevil Born Again wasn't in the same universe as the Netflix shows, they also said it most certainly is. Um, so I had heard people say that even though they bring the cast back, they're like, "Is it a continuation or is it real?" Yes, it most certainly is.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I myself went back and forth on it all the time, depending on what they were saying. And it's just like,
Right.
You just had to see it to honestly in order to believe it. I mean, like I said, that first 14 minutes just sets the tone. And like, I mean, dude, you get a hallway shot. Like you get a infamous Netflix Daredevil hallway scene in that first 14 minutes.
Yes,
That's
you
just
did.
great to, it's. I was like, yeah, this is not a reboot. This is clearly continuing with what Netflix was doing. And to be honest, like Netflix was just a part of the MCU in their own right when they were making their TV shows. Like they clearly referenced the MCU like it was
Yeah, they do.
happening down the street. So it was always on the Netflix side of things. They were always connected. I think it was the Marvel side of things where they were like, not so fast. You know,
Yeah, it was kind of ambiguous there for a while. They did the same thing with Agents of Shield,
I think they even called at one
which
point in the Netflix show. I forget what it was. They referred to it as the New York Incident and the Green Monster or something like that. Like they didn't call him the
yeah,
Hulk. So
no,
it was like kind of like that.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting now going forward to see how this all that stuff plays in. Like we talked about on the last show, are we going to get Luke Cage? We're going to get Jessica Jones, um, Iron Fist. You know, all of
Oh,
those
you know
Netflix
what we
shows
did
that
talk about
came.
last show? We mentioned Spider-Man and Adam Snow movie show. I believe it was Adam mentioned that contractually Spider-Man is only allowed on the big screen.
Yes, he did. He did clear that up for us. So
So
thank you, Adam.
appreciate that. He's our
Um,
movie expert. Adam Snow movie show.
yes. So okay, yeah, I was gonna say could Peter show up, but I guess that's the same thing. So that'd be fine.
Maybe I see that's like lawyer talk. Like okay, Spider-Man can do it. What about Peter Parker? Like
Right.
like I don't know. Could Aunt May get into a car accident and she's got to sue somebody for rear-ending her? That's possible.
Well,
Like,
she's
I'm just trying to think like
dead
attorney
now.
stuff. You'd be your ender, right? Marissa
I'm not
Tomei?
answering that
No,
question.
Tomei? I
It's a
mean,
family show. It's a
I'd
family
smash.
show.
I'd smash. Just saying. We just talked about Daredevil getting it in with broccoli. Come on, give me a break.
Yes, but we didn't do it in those terms. It was different terms.
Different terms.
Um,
PC Holzman, everyone.
I don't think we talked about any rear ending going on in the previous segment with the She-Hulk.
Hey, She-Hulk just got the devil's horn. Oh, Nelly!
Well, let me bring up a topic of from people I know you love. Um, we're gonna switch houses. Well, we kind of did, but we're gonna switch to the movie side now of the MCU, and we know that we're getting Avengers Doomsday, and
Mm,
Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play Doctor Doom. And one of Pete's favorite people in the world, Joe Russo, spoke
mhm.
about how Robert
Is that the
Downey
short one or
Jr.
the one with the glasses?
I don't know. I never know.
Yeah, they're both frauds.
Um, I think it might be the short one, but
Okay.
um, and apparently Downey's really like digging in and trying to doing the research, and I'm assuming he did this for Tony Stark too. So I'm not.
I mean, he should dig in, right? He's planning on making like what another 10 movies, make another $100 billion. He
Yeah.
better dig in. This is
So
his life for the next decade.
right, like I'm not surprised that he's doing the research. Most good actors, and he's a fantastic actor, do the research on their characters.
Mm.
So I don't know why that was such a big deal for them to point out.
All I know is that the latest Russo Brothers movie tanked.
Yes, it
So
did.
let your champions go out and play over there. They suck. I can't wait till these guys are done. They are complete
It
frauds.
even looks cheap. Like,
What a
God, I don't
bunch
know
of
what they were
losers.
thinking.
Anyone who
Anyway,
supports the Russo brothers, do me a favor. Defriend me off Facebook because I don't want to be your friend.
did you have you ever explained what your biggest issue is with them?
I don't think they're credible because everything they do is absolutely horrible outside of Marvel. I don't know what they have on Kevin Feige, but clearly they have something on him where he allows them to just do no show jobs and just somebody else is clearly directing these Avengers movies because it can't be these two morons. Sorry, it just can't be.
Well,
You can't tell me they could write and direct two of the greatest comic book movies of all time, and then literally everything else that they make is utter complete shit. Something is up. It's not real. It's like, look, it's all right in front of you guys. These guys can't be doing this. I'm sorry. Like, if you want to call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I firmly believe these guys don't actually direct these movies. They just collect paychecks and it's a PR stunt. Like, I don't think these guys are actually doing the work. I think they're frauds.
Well, I've often wondered if they're more idea guys, and then people actually put the words together.
Because I don't think they have a style of directing. Like, like Guy Ritchie has a style, Snyder has a style, Nolan does, Bay does. These guys don't have a style.
I mean, it's strange because all of their Marvel stuff I pretty much like. Um, and you're right.
Yeah,
Everything else I've seen from them, I don't.
is utter
It's the
trash.
strangest. It's the strangest phenomenon, and I can't explain it except for what you say. Like they're in name directors and they're in name writers, but they're probably not doing the heavy lifting. Or
That, and I
the
think the
post.
camera work in Winter Soldier is very shaky. Or is a Civil War? I can't remember. One of the two movies. I'm like, this is horrible. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Some of the close up shots on the fight scenes in Winter Soldier are a little rough, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't get it either. But in this world, they do produce good stuff. So
yeah. I don't know how they do it. I don't think it's them. And I hate when people. It's like those Costco people. Like I can't stand those people. I hate when people make money for doing nothing. And I really think these guys don't do anything. Like I can't stand like easy millionaires. I can't take that.
yeah,
Double drunk chocolate. Like, you sound like a moron. Shut up.
I'd love
Shut
to be
up.
on set. I'd love to be on set, just to kind of see what goes on. But
But even then, like, that's probably an act in general. Like, they'll probably have you on set and they probably have Russo behind a microphone, be like, "Can Captain America go stand over there and throw your shield?" It's like, but he's not doing that. Like, I'm sorry, I can't stand these guys, especially the short one. I can't stand the short one at all.
that's the book we need, not the other book. This is the book we need. The book
What,
about
my just a diary of me just talking crap on the Russos?
no, we call it the Russo brothers. What do they actually do?
The Russo brothers behind the lens, a true story of Hollywood bullshit.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Weirdest phenomenon. It really is. So we know we're having crossover in the new DC universe between all the mediums. So we're having crossover between comics and video games and movies and whatever TV shows, and we know that's coming from them. Marvel has kind of done it in a different way. Obviously, the TV shows and the movies, yes, those have intertwined. Sometimes, not all times. We mentioned a few already. But now, apparently, storylines are crossing over into the comics. And there's a good article on Collider about the benefits of this, how it could be risky. It all started because there's a TVA miniseries apparently, and they reference Wanda in it. And
Yes.
right, are you reading that?
I'm not reading of it. I know it. I know of it. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm very caffeinated, as you could tell. I'm not, and Spider Gwen is involved, so I've kind of been tempted to read it, but I'm not really because it's kind of like out of my realm, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been hinting at for a while. It seems like since Ms. Marvel, the MCU has hinted that they are Marvel 616, which is the main continuity, the main Marvel universe.
Right.
And I've always disagreed with that just because there's so much history. I feel like the MCU is just an alternate universe. But Feige's been really trying to pull this for a while. And I think he might have enough clout now to the point where he's going to start mixing in his MCU bullshit into the Marvel, into print.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they said that it's already kind of started. They mentioned about how
And the Spider Man
Catherine
stuff
Hans.
worries me the most
Well,
because I
we'll
think
see.
MCU Spider Man is a horrible take on Spider Man. And the last thing I need is for that to become the Spider Man. Like, I've always, part of the reason why I was able to just swallow that crap is because I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I have real Spider Man in comic books. Like, it's totally fine. Like, you can give me this half ass bullshit Iron Man Jr., but I can read real Spider Man. But now it's like, well, if you're going to take this fake Spider Man and put him in print, you're kind of losing me here.
I mean, they haven't gone that far, but you're right. Like if they're starting to do it, then anything's game. You would figure anything is
Mm.
possible now for them to do crossover that into the comic book,
I'd
crossover
much
from the
rather
screen to
have
comic.
them cross over like traditionally in a comic book, right? I think that
Yeah.
would be cooler.
Yep. But like I said, they mentioned Wanda specifically um, about the in the TVA miniseries. Uh, and then they mentioned Catherine Hahn's Agatha kind of changing the how she's being drawn in the comics. So they're
Hmm.
doing more of that one from the TV than the
Oh,
traditional one.
I'd smash.
So it's it's a very interesting article, and it does kind of bring up a lot of possibilities, but it also brings up things we've talked about just in the past about if they start doing this, not only might you have to watch shows, you might have to read a comic to follow a movie or vice versa,
And that's bad
right?
because you hate reading comics.
Well, it's not just I don't I don't hate it. It just gets very overwhelming at times. There's so much for me, it just gets very overwhelming. So I don't hate it. Like there are certain comics I read and I enjoy them, but it would kind of just create another layer to this that already frustrates people.
Hmm.
So it's tricky. And I feel like we're in a space now in with comic book movies that the landscape's fragile still. Um I mean, I loved Brave New World. You liked Brave New World, but since week 1 it hasn't really done well. So it's kind of like another, I don't want to say a chink in the armor. I think it'll probably end up breaking even. Um
Do you think people are just expecting these like just amazingly epic, larger
I
than
do.
life movies, and then it's like the little action movie just can't do it anymore? Which is funny because I was talking to Haas, and it's like you would think the president turning into a giant red monster would be a bigger deal, but in the MCU, it's like small potatoes at this point. Whereas like the small MCU movie can't really grasp the audience, but they need that build up to, Avengers 17. I don't know.
This one shocked me a little much because it is Captain America, even though it's not Steve Rogers, it's still Captain America. It's a character we've seen
Hmm.
since from the original phases of the original the end Infinity Saga of the MCU. Um, it is bringing back. They teased the Red Hulk through all the marketings. We knew he was coming, and like I said, the first week box office was very strong, but it hasn't done stuff since then. So this one's a little shocking to me. Again, we talked about it possibly just because it's not Steve Rogers that people aren't like they're like, oh,
Well, it's
that's
tricky because
Falcon.
while it is the fourth Captain America movie, this is still a reboot. I mean, and
Yeah,
we've said it lines up way more with Hulk movies than it does Captain
it
America
does.
movie, right? Like
It does.
it's this weird tweener.
Yeah. And I actually liked that idea. Like I we spoke about this. I liked how they brought that storyline back.
Yes, I agree.
Um
I'm with you on
it
that.
was a real and it was well done. There's definitely editing parts of the film that I didn't like. Um like Sidewinder was very unnecessary. He was a fantastic character, but to me he was very unnecessary.
Hmm.
But there's it's still a Captain America film, and I still expected it to be a bigger draw. And the fact that it didn't do well, yeah, it's we're still in a fragile place. Thunderbolts, sorry, looks fantastic to me. Every trailer, every little bit I see come out, I'm like, oh, I think this movie's gonna be fun, like a lot of fun for people to watch. But what I think, and clearly doesn't matter because
I think people are going to look at that and see a bunch of no name characters, and I think even though they've been all been in movies before, I don't think it's going to draw.
yeah, that's what I'm feeling
I'm
too.
afraid of
Like I
that,
feel like we're
but I
at
think it looks
this
great.
fragile. Yeah, I think it looks really fun. A lot of fun. Well acted, well written. I mean, it's just trailers, but I honestly think it's going to be a really good movie. I'm just afraid it's going to be another case where no one goes to see it. So tying this back into the comic stuff, you see how it could. But we're just kind of tying this all together. You see how this can create a convoluted mess for fans to grasp and to
Hmm.
jump into, and then at that point they're just going to say forget it. So we'll see what happens with the comic world and the MCU. See how far they go with it. But I'm kind of with you. I kind of wish they would keep
Just stay in
them
your lane, dude.
separate.
Stay in your
Yeah.
lane.
Yep. I'm with you on that one.
You know, because look, I mean, I think it's obvious Feige's lost a step. I just it is. He's not delivering bangers like he used to, right? So like we're just gonna trust him with other stuff now. Like it's
Yeah. It's fair. I
We're
mean, it's
signing
definitely
Albert
a fair.
Pujols well after his prime.
Yes. So, all right. Well, we teased Nolan before, so let's get to that one now.
Oh, here we go. The meat and potatoes
Um,
of the show, the beef.
so, in case you've been living under a rock, we all know that Amazon, we talked about this on the last show, has fully taken over the creatives behind James Bond. And there was an article in the Wrap written by Humberto talking about if they want to save James Bond, they should pretty much hire Christopher Nolan to direct. Now we've gone down this road before. There's been discussions about him in the past. He's a huge fan of the character. They go into all of that. It makes a lot of sense. Um, but the timing on it could be rough because he's doing the Odyssey, and you don't know how long it would be before they actually got around to shooting James Bond. You're talking about production, writing a script, and everything else that goes along with it. So, I personally, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
I think he's lost a little. I know people loved Oppenheimer. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was a
Well,
great
I
film.
know the beef.
I thought Tenet was ambitious, but I'd be lying if I told you I understood what the movie was about because I don't. Um, I didn't love Dunkirk. I know a lot of people did. I thought it was okay. So to me, he's lost a little on his fastball. This is just my opinion. Um,
Whoa.
but I am intrigued by the Odyssey. So I will say that. So his next movie coming out, I am intrigued by. I like the story, so I'm interested in to see his take on it.
Mhm.
And for James Bond, we're kind of at a point, in my opinion, where if they're gonna do something, it has to be different than what we got from Daniel Craig's James Bond.
Mhm.
Um, and I
Yeah.
think he could be good with that.
I think
So
look, I love Nolan. I think he'd be great for it. But this is what I'm thinking. Okay, you ready for this? And you hit the nail on the head. You said something different. What I think we need here, okay, is a dynamic duo, a director and actor who can really propel this thing into the next generation. Now I'm thinking Michael Bay, Henry Cavill, James Bond. Let's do it. Let's Americanize James Bond and let's have some fun here. Politically we're pissing off everyone in the world. Let's just do it cinematically as well. So let's get Michael Bay in here and direct a James Bond movie. It'll be the most action-packed thing you'll ever see. The
it
story
would.
will be okay, but you'll have so much eye candy on screen that you want to do. And imagine the Bond girls in a Bay Bond movie. Imagine that.
It's true.
Ticket sales out the roof. It's a bona fide hit. I don't care what you say. It'll be absolutely amazing. So imagine that. Okay. If you doubt me, just imagine the Bond Bay girls. Oh my God.
I will say it would not be short on spectacle. That's for sure.
We would have the most
Uh,
amazing Bond gadgets we've ever seen.
yeah, literally. Who knows? You might even see Bumblebee show up in the Bond film.
And
I don't know.
BBC, Bay, Bond, Cavill. It fits. Let's go, baby.
You know, Pete, that is not the craziest take. I don't think anyone would go for it, but I like where you're headed. Like
Come
in
on.
your mind,
You've
where
seen
you're.
Transformers last night. We all know where this is going.
Now, I often said Guy Ritchie could do James Bond. Um, I think he would be much better. Um, but because
I think
he
we
did the
need to
Sherlock
take the
Holmes films.
Brit out of Bond, though. I think we need to modernize him a little bit. That's why I said we need to Americanize him. Give him a
Wow.
McDonald's French fry or something. Give him something cool to do.
It's not honestly, Pete. For like I said, from a pure entertainment standpoint,
Yeah,
you're probably right.
I told you, it's gonna be light on story, but it's gonna be visually amazing.
Yeah, yeah. If you're into that stuff, yes, it probably would just be ridiculous in every sense of the word.
Just 1, 2 movies. We don't need them to go crazy, but just 1 or 2. That's fine.
Man, I'm just trying to I'm trying to envision it, and I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but it would be crazy. That's interesting though. Um, so we'll
We
see
got
what
to get
happens. By,
Sydney
by the way,
Sweeney in a Bay movie. That's what we need. She
Mm,
should be in the next Transformers. I hear Bay's coming back for that too.
he's not.
It's wishful
Well, I
thinking.
mean, he's part of the production company, so
Or was it
He's
Shia? Was
always
it
attached.
LaBeouf? Was LaBeouf coming back? What's his name? Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what they're doing with that franchise. It's funny because I
G.I. Joe.
watched what's it called, Rise of the Beast. Yeah, that's what I mean. I watched Rise of the Beast last night because it was on Showtime, and I was bored, so I'm like, oh, I'll watch it
I
again because I
enjoy
like
that
the movie.
movie.
Yeah, so did I. And yeah, at
It
the
led
end
to nothing.
they with the GI Joe thing, and I'm like, are they ever going to do anything with this?
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
I mean, because that thing seriously needs a serious reboot. GI Joe. So
To be honest, I think they
yeah,
both do.
no, I think you could build off of Rise of the Beasts. I think
Yeah. I think Transformers could be standalone enough where they could just do it and no one will
right,
notice, right?
right, yes.
This is what
But
Bumblebee
yeah,
was.
so yeah, and Bumblebee. I loved Bumblebee.
Bumblebee's
So
great.
yep, good
Bumblebee
film.
tuna. Bumblebee tuna.
So we have some more casting news on Scream 7, and it definitely appears they are going the route of New Nightmare with this film. That's what I'm getting because Dewey's back.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right?
That's weird.
Yeah. So it definitely appears that this script is going along the same along lines
You don't
of
think this is like a
what they did with
multiverse thing?
I don't.
Like where
I
they
don't.
forget 5 and 6 happened?
I don't. I honestly think this
Okay.
is going to be a New Nightmare type deal. Um, Wes Craven, this started with him. Kevin Williamson adores him.
Do
He
you
was
think
a
this is
mentor
the
to
end?
him. Could be. This could
Right?
be the last one.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, New Nightmare was supposed to be the end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we did get Freddy versus Jason and I believe a reboot, but
Yeah. Because it everything the way it's coming together with all the old cast members coming back, I don't think it's a multiverse type deal. I think that would be ridiculous. So I really do think they're gonna do some kind of like the actors playing the actors.
did you like New Nightmare?
I did.
I did
I did
not.
like New Nightmare.
It was just
Yeah.
too out there.
I didn't love every element of it, but I did like that idea around it. I did. Like the actors playing themselves and yeah. I did like that idea. So that part worked for me. There were parts of it that I didn't that were like that was kind of dumb. But so that's our
Man,
final story for the week, guys.
man.
Deputy Dewey is returning.
I wish the Russos wouldn't return. That's what I wish.
They're gonna do Scream 8. There you go.
Oh my god. I wouldn't
I
even.
don't even.
I
I
wouldn't.
don't even wish. No, I can't even say that.
Dude, I
I would
wouldn't
be
pay those
so upset.
guys to film a used car commercial. Oh my god.
So, yeah,
I
we're
can't
at the
stand
end of
people who
our.
fail upwards. It's like one of my biggest things. It's like one of my big pet peeves.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Like you said it once before, they seem to only be able to do work within someone else's purview. When they're left to their own devices, they're just not good. So
yeah. Anyway, screw them.
anyway,
You can follow me socially. Pete Illustrated. You can follow this show on X at street_o_g. I have a Spider-Man show, Spidey Coalition. Check that out. That's always a good time. Lots of interesting characters there that I love to talk about webs with. BatmanOnFilm.com. Brian Lauer's the Batman Book Club. He's Ryan Lauer's brother. The two of them do a fantastic job over there with the Batman Book Club. So check all that stuff out. And Facebook group, Facebook fan page for Straight Outta Gotham as well. And I'm going to pass this one off to Holzman.
yes, X, Twitter, whatever you call it, at Finally33, spelled Finale33. Again, fan of the New York Knicks or basketball in general. I have a show every Wednesday night called All Nicked Up. You can watch it on Facebook Live. It's on X. It's on YouTube.
How do you feel about the injury?
Yeah, don't really want to talk about it.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's only supposed to be 2 weeks, so I'm hoping for the best. But the Knicks, historically, when they say 2 weeks, expect 2 months. So I have no idea. I just know the player, and Brunson is a very tough guy, and he's going to want to get back as fast as he can. So I know he'll try and make it back. Who knows about effectiveness at that point? And I don't know. I'm not expecting this team to get out of the second round at this point, so we'll see what happens. But if you want to hear that stories like that or topics like that and more, again, at all_Nick_up on X/Twitter. We have a Facebook group as well. Check us out over there. And every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. That's all for now. So, Pete, unless you have anything else.
I think Shelly's calling you.
Yeah, I think so. So for Pete, I'm Eric. For Pete, I'm Eric. You're listening to Straight Outta Gotham. See you next time.
Booyah.
Soundstripe. Have faith. Have faith. Believe in your source.